Don't shoot the messenger.
That's right, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Shoot the Messenger. As always, I am Chris Dickens alongside my cohort,
Jinx. Just Jinx.
Just Jinx. And today we have a very special guest. It's our legal analyst, Conn Jr.
Good evening, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. After many of episodes, we found out that we are in legal trouble with the U.S. government on what we are saying. So John is here to advise us on what we can and cannot say.
Follow the rules and no one gets hurt.
Alrighty then.
So
hopefully this will still be fun.
it should still be fun. Let's get into it right now. We said last week we're going to do Hollywood, so we are on to Hollywood. And first and foremost, Bruce and Brandon Lee.
So, yeah, there's a lot of conspiracies dealing with their deaths, of course. Are they cursed? Do we know? It's just strange that almost 20 years, almost to the day, Brandon Lee dies tragically while making The Crow after his father, Bruce Lee, had been killed.
Fun side note, John didn't know what The Crow was until last week.
Yep, but that's okay. Sometimes
That's classified.
Sometimes legal people need help, too.
Yes, Bruce Lee was pronounced dead on July 20th, 1973. So his anniversary of his death is what, 2 days? 2 days.
Coming up soon.
Thursday is the anniversary of his death. It is Tuesday right now while we're doing this, guys.
Yep. You guys won't hear it till Thursday, but or whenever in the future you may be listening to this.
Whenever. And on March 30th, 1993, that's when Brandon Lee died.
Yep.
So there's a lot of conspiracies behind this. Bruce Lee was punched in the stomach, took what he thought was like a Tylenol or an aspirin.
He claimed he had a headache and wasn't feeling well, so he took some aspirin and went and laid down instead of going out to dinner with his agent and director of his movies in China. And which is suspicious that, he wouldn't go out with them to the dinner that he had with some other media people. So he never woke up from that nap that he took.
I mean, it's a little bit weird that, you just one pill, one medication.
Yeah,
Hey now.
They're claiming that it was an allergic reaction to it.
Clean this up, guys.
But I haven't seen any specification as to what exactly he was taking. Was it aspirin? Was this a normal?
A lot of things I've read, it was just aspirin.
Yeah.
It was just a higher dose of aspirin.
Just aspirin.
You would think that somebody in the martial arts field gets injured a lot and probably takes a lot of pain medication, such as aspirin and NSAIDs, that he would know what he was allergic to at this point.
Yeah, and then Brandon was accidentally shot on the set of The Crow
by what was supposed to be a blank.
They're
claiming that maybe a bullet before got lodged into the chamber of the pistol somehow. So when the blank got shot off, it actually propelled that bullet that had been lodged in there that shouldn't have been. And nobody had checked the gun like they should have, because their normal prop master had conveniently either been sick that day or for whatever reason wasn't there. So the normal prop guy wasn't there to double check.
So
what do you?
The expert is to blame for this whole thing.
That's it. But what do you guys believe is the truth behind this?
Yeah, and there's the Chinese triad is the most common one that you hear about. They could not get Bruce Lee to be blackmailed. They could not get him to agree to any of their extortion money things. So they weren't able to make any money off of Bruce Lee. And then, of course, he was planning on taking off to China. So. Yeah, or not China, to the U.S. to start making movies there. So his director of the Chinese movies wasn't going to be making as much money. So there's a lot of speculation that maybe he poisoned Bruce Lee, working with the Chinese triad.
Yeah, I've read that as well, and the fact that he was exposing too much martial arts secrets to Westerners. That was also tied to the triads as well, that they were not happy about that.
What do you have on the legal side of that, John?
Well, this is complicated because there were flights into the States. Who knows if it was him or not?
Well, that's good, but I meant, is it legal for martial artists to share their secrets in movies?
Not typically.
With Westerners?
No.
Oh, so America gets the fall again. There was also the grudge with Brandon Lee because he refused for protection payments and stuff like that via the triads, and that's why Brandon Lee was shot.
And they're also saying, too, that the Chinese triad was still bitter over that, and that if they hadn't been successful with killing Bruce Lee, this may have been them still trying to get revenge and get back at Bruce Lee's family by killing his son, which absolutely makes no sense to me because Bruce Lee's been dead for 20 years. How is it going to affect him to kill his son?
I don't know. Yeah, it really just affects the rest of his family, I guess. I really couldn't go into more depth than that. But, I mean, I think we're all in agreement, though, that both deaths are quite suspicious.
They're suspicious, but the triad had anything to do with that. With Brandon Lee?
Get that off your mind. Get that off your mind.
The thing with Brandon Lee.
You're messing with legal issues here.
With Brandon Lee, there's just no way that
I don't care about legal issues. I 100% believe the triads had something to do with both deaths, and that this is a shame because these are two great martial artists that was taken well before their time was up. I mean, look, Jackie Chan's coming out with a new movie called The Foreigner. Why hasn't he gone anywhere?
Well, it's Jackie Chan.
That's Jackie Chan. That's right.
So.
The same guy that.
So let's moving on.
Shanghai Nights.
More deaths. This is a death-filled episode, I guess, because we got more deaths right now. We're going to get into Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, hang on now. That's former president brothers and family.
Well, and we're going to get into that. I'm sorry.
We will not be silenced.
We will not be silenced. So,
you're looking.
Marilyn Monroe was supposedly had a suicide back in the 60s. Mm-hmm. She took a lot of pills and died, but
that's the story.
That's the story.
What kind of pills?
But the circumstances in which she was found were really sketchy.
There was a lot of sketchiness to all of this. One was laying flat and straight like a board
Arms and
on
legs
her.
Straight. Who falls asleep that way? Even after.
I mean, I do.
If you took a lot of sleeping pills, that especially you're going to kind of just fall where you lay. You're not going to.
Well, then that's the thing. It's not like you're going to lay down and just be like, lay down and this is where I'm going to die. You kind of
walk around. This is how I want to die, looking like I'm already in a casket.
I mean, I have a feeling it would be kind of like walking around and then stumbling and then falling and hitting things. They said everything was nice and neat. And another weird thing is they never found a drinking glass.
Oh, no, they did. So originally, when the police investigated the room, they found no drinking glass, no water, anything in there. Who takes a bunch of sleeping pills without something to wash them down with? After they had already gone through and combed the room, mysteriously, a glass of water showed up in the room with no lip prints or anything on it. Yeah, that is a little bit weird, and I've got some theories on this. I think it might have been the Kennedys. All right, so there are a couple different things with which Kennedy.
It's a little embarrassing to see the girl
conspiracy
naked.
Do you think?
I think it was Robert, and my reason for thinking it was Robert is because JFK, once he became president, cut off a lot of ties to everybody. He cut off ties to old Blue Eyes, Frank Sinatra. He cut off ties to a lot of people, and he didn't want that light of Marilyn Monroe on him while he was president, so he kind of gave her to Robert. Well, there was reports that Robert actually was like, hey, I will do anything it takes to keep her quiet.
So do you think he had that conversation with her, like some people speculate earlier that evening?
I think so, and there was actually Bobby Kennedy was determined. Here's a quote: "Is Bobby Kennedy was determined to shut her up regardless of consequences," said by Peter Lawford, who Lawford then said he was really guilty about it and let it die. I think Kennedy's had a lot to do with it, but there's other stuff out there.
Who do you think they were co-conspiring with? I mean, with that, there's been hints at the mafia being involved, or her Dr. Greenson,
the reptilian race, aliens,
which John may or may not be a part of. We definitely know Chris's son is. But to get back to Marilyn Monroe, RFK, do you think it was the mafia? Do you think it was the
I think it was RFK and
the doctor involved.
RFK and actor Peter Lawford, the guy who had the quote, because she was threatening to air dirty political secrets they had disclosed to her. I mean, hey, when you're getting it on in bed, things just start coming out.
Yeah, out of all kinds of orifices and places.
Well,
John,
right.
that is not
this
legal.
Is a clean show.
Wait, what?
You're the legal, isn't the show?
He's losing control.
Yes.
Get me out of here,
Jinx. I want to know what you think.
What I think. I think it's really sketchy. I don't think she committed suicide. Was it the Kennedys? Did they really have that? There's the whole mafia tie-in that they were trying to make money off of her. So, and being unsuccessful at it, at extorting her. So, again, we have more mafia ties. The mafia comes up a lot with the Hollywood stuff. And the mafia has always been known to try and get money wherever they can. So, maybe, possibly, Giancana might be involved there.
But did you hear about this other theory?
What's the other theory? Oh, I think I know where you're going here.
UFOs caused Marilyn Monroe's death.
Did I not just say that?
And a documentary claims proof.
No, reptilian elite UFOs are kind of separate.
So
I did say aliens.
It goes back to my whole thing with RFK taking her down, but instead of leaking dirty political secrets, it was actually that she was going to release evidence regarding extraterrestrials and their existence and experiments upon them.
So where was she getting that information? What's the theory on that? Where was this coming from?
There are a lot of legalities here that you must cooperate with.
If we find it on the internet, it must be true.
No, listen to me. Aliens is a
what?
You know.
I don't know.
It's a serious conversation.
It's a serious conversation, yes. But if we find stuff on the internet, it has to be true.
That's true.
Nobody posts things on the internet that's not true. Like our show is totally true.
So Monroe was actually having conversations with Dorothy Killigan, who was looking into the famous Roswell incident, and apparently Monroe had lots of information about it. So who knows who was getting from? Maybe because there's also CIA and FBI clearance. Stuff going on there. I mean, she was banging a president and a senator, and there's lots of interesting stuff with that. But
poor Marilyn needs a lawyer. Right
I mean, if it has to do with aliens, I'm on board.
There you go. The woman is just trying to have fun, and because guys can't keep their mouths shut
have fun.
when they're intimate with people,
girls
she
just
gets
wanna
killed.
have fun.
Cyndi Lauper. That's a great tune.
Probably legality problem there, right?
Yes.
All right. Let's keep it on sort of Marilyn Monroe. Let's move it off to her first lover, which was John F. Kennedy, and how
legally, is that her first lover? Can we say that?
You can this time.
Yes, we can. How he claimed we were going to get to the moon by the end of the decade. Then he was assassinated, and then all of a sudden, by 1969, we were on the moon.
So, what is your theory on this?
My theory on this is this. Okay, so by 1967, they had tried several rocket launches, and they were very unsuccessful. Multiple astronauts were killed.
Yes, definitely.
Because they even said the equipments were lemons. I forget which astronaut it was, but he actually took a picture of a lemon on a hanger and hung it in front of one of the rockets and was and sent it out to media, and it was actually posted in newspapers and stuff saying that this was a lemon. Which a term lemon, if you don't know, means it's broken, it's crap, it's garbage.
Anybody's bought a used car? No. Anyways.
Yeah.
I bought lemons.
Thank you, John. But that was the night by 1967 they were that. You're going to tell me within 2 years you're advanced so much that you can make it to the moon and not to mention be able to use equipment and everything that they have, all the cameras that they have with these big bulky spacesuits on. I think it was done in a movie studio, and part of it on Area 51 and part of it in a movie studio.
So do you think that Stanley Kubrick directed it?
I think
Andy Warhol's, right?
Yes, I think he did. There have been multiple documents of reporters and people trying to go up to astronauts from the Apollo missions and have them swear to them on a Bible or tell them, and be like, hey, did you really land on the moon? And they get angry about it. I wouldn't think people get angry about that. I think I'd be like, yeah, I put my hand on a Bible. I'll swear to that.
They think they get angry because they've done something miraculous and amazing, and people keep questioning it and calling them liars. I think I'd be angry about that too.
Well, what do you feel about it?
I feel that there's no proof of either way. Unless you go into yourself.
No. This is you're not allowed to take your Bible mid-stance here, Jinx.
Well,
I've
just got to say, if we've never been to the moon, how are Paul McCartney and Elvis and Marilyn living on the dark side of the moon?
Marilyn's dead. There's pictures of her body being dead.
That might be her doppelganger.
Okay,
her body
doppelganger.
double.
Her body, just like Paul.
Just like Adolf Hitler.
Just like Adolf. Well, we went over Adolf Hitler. Well, no, seriously. Give me an actual side. What are you? Do you believe it or do you not?
I think we talked about this before.
I think you believe it.
That we landed on the moon?
That we did not land on the moon.
Oh, yeah. Hello. I think we discussed this on the first episode.
I'm just trying to get into it with you.
Yeah.
That happened.
What happened? The moon landing?
The moon landing happened. A lot of evidence. A lot of video.
The legal side of it is that it happened?
Yes.
I don't think it did, and there's been multiple accounts of astronauts dying miraculously and suspiciously when they want to come out and talk about it or anything.
Didn't Buzz Aldrin write a book?
Good for Buzz Aldrin.
And he's got documents that are top secret, classified.
You say that astronauts have died when they went to talk about it. What is your example of an astronaut being killed or dying suspiciously?
The moon landing was at first supposed to be a secret, but some people got caught wind of it, so they had to publicize it. Otherwise, they would not have.
How did they present that on TV? Was it a live video stream? I'm guessing not, because could they send footage from the moon back then? Or did they have to record it and then bring it back to Earth?
Or ask the thousands of people that saw the rocket take off.
Was it seen live back then,
space.
or was it something they sent video footage back to Earth and then, when they came back and then put together?
Came back and put together. All right, astronauts that have died. 10 dead astronauts at NASA from 1964 to 1967.
That's a lot of datas.
Ones that died in space on the faulty aircrafts.
Thomas Ronald Barron, safety inspector in Apollo 1's construction, died in a fire when he was going to testify before Congress. Virgil, Gus Grissom, Ed White, Roger Caffey were killed in a devastating fire on Apollo 1 while launching a full-scale launch simulation.
I think we know about that one.
That's what I'm saying. These guys wanted to come out and say that this was not going to happen, and then all of a sudden they died.
What if it wasn't an American rocket?
Those three for Apollo 1 have a picture of them with a model of the spacecraft praying over it
because they were that worried.
They were that afraid of something happening. It didn't happen. It's just plain and simple. The moon landing did not happen. If you believe it, you're just not right in the mind.
It did happen.
You don't think the reptilian elite want people to get to the moon?
No, it's a base. We've gone over this.
Oh, okay.
Base. All right?
All right.
Well, I think that's all the time we have, though, for this episode.
Yep. Thanks to John Conn.
Excuse me. Thanks to John Conn Jr.
For joining us today.
And giving us our legal advice and analytics here.
No problem, guys. Thank you.
Had
a good time. You guys passed. It was teeter-tottering, but...
We like to teeter and we like to totter.
I like to tot, too. So, good job.
Tauntaun.
Tauntaun.
A tauntaun.
Hey, anyway, as always, we are just the messengers.
Don't shoot us. We're just delivering the news. How we hear it and how you take it is all up to you.
Next week, we're going to get into Flat Earth.
Okay, sounds good. We haven't done Flat Earth. An interesting meme I just saw, and I think I sent it to you, is if the Earth was flat, cats would have knocked everything off the edge of it by now.
So until next week, I'm Chris Dickens.
And I'm Jinx, just Jinx.
This is Don't Shoot the Messenger. John Conn Jr.